everybody to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir. You got it.
All right, so we talked a little prop bets. We talked about Kansas City Chiefs player props. We got to talk about the 49ers.
Yeah, we got to flip the script, Andy, and go with the gold and red.
Yep, the Gold Rush. They are the 2-point favorite, hanging on to that 2-point line there. And if people feel like they're having a little deja vu, that's because they are. Just 4 seasons ago, the Chiefs crushed the 49ers in their Super Bowl aspirations and actually beat them 31-20 back February of 2020.
Yeah, for sure. Some bad memories for 49ers fans. Go up by 10 in the fourth quarter and lose the game. It's, But, I mean, they got another shot at it. Probably should have had another shot at it last year, getting the quarterbacks hurt in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. So, they're back. Let's get into some player props, Andy. Obviously, we got to start with the Iowa State guy, Mr. Brock Purdy.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, and the people are really saying he's irrelevant with these lines here, Andy. Brock Purdy's total passing completions, a lot of people are going on the under on 20.5. The under has hit 5 of the last 7 games, including the NFC Championship.
Really?
Brock Purdy total passing attempts under 31.5. The under has hit in 13 of his last 15 games, including the NFC Championship. The one that a lot of people are really going over, Randy, on are Brock Purdy total passing yards over 247.5. The over is hit in both playoff games this season. So he's not getting a lot of attempts, but those people, when he gets them the ball, can really run for a long ways.
Right. And I like how he's playing off everyone trying to attack him for being a game manager. He's like, I take that as a compliment. I just get the ball to these open guys and then let them do the work. I mean, making a 5-yard pass to Christian McCaffrey where he's got space to work with, that's like a 15-yard completion.
That's gonna work out. It's gonna work out most times to Debo and Ayuk. But so that is the one that I really like for Brock. Another one people are looking at is Brock Purdy total passing touchdowns. A lot of people are going on the under with this.
Under
1.5. The under is hitting 4 straight playoff games for Brock. They just get inside the red zone and they run it in. That's what they do. So he usually gets about 1 touchdown, averages it. I would be on the under as well, Andy. So that's the lines for Brock. Some good ones. I'm definitely on that over the passing yards, though.
What about you? I think you kind of breezed right through it there.
Yeah.
I was thinking those passing attempts. I'm looking at 30.5. You had like a 31 there.
31.5, probably bet down.
You know, I see a reason for that under. If they're behind and they get thrown out of their script and they can't, and even if they just stick to their script, these are still, we just mentioned it, short passes. So just extended handoffs.
The over definitely could hit.
I kind of like the over on his passing attempts because I just think that kind of fits their game plan anyway.
And Mahomes is going to push them to do that.
Yes, and Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, all that is going to push them to do that, do just that.
You got stats, back on the other side, but sometimes in the Super Bowl, stats don't matter. So I would not frown at the fact that he has over 30 passing attempts. Like you said, even if it gets bet down to under 30, be looking at that line and you maybe take a flyer on the over.
Hey, there you go.
Go Brock.
I know you want to talk about CMC.
My dude.
Christian
That's
McCaffrey.
my guy. My Panther, my all-time favorite. But he has some really fun lines out there. Obviously, anytime touchdown scorer is right there, Andy. But his is
minus 250 on
minus 250 to get any value out of Christian for touchdowns. You have to go at least 2, and that's at plus 250, 245, wherever you can get it at. But a lot of the ones that people are looking in on are his total rushing attempts, and a lot of people are going under, Andy. Under 18.5 is at a plus 100 on DraftKings right now. The under has hit 5 of McCaffrey's 6 playoff games. So he does a lot of work and so little of carries that it makes it feel like he's getting the ball a lot more than he is.
And also, if I'm thinking Brock Purdy's going to throw for over 31 attempts, that also cuts into it.
It definitely does.
So I kind of like that.
Yep. Christian McCaffrey, I believe this is kind of an inflated number. His total rushing yards, 90.5 right now. I would probably have to side with the under on this, Andy. The under has hit 3 of McCaffrey's last 4 playoff games. Yeah. The Chiefs also haven't allowed a 90-yard rusher in 15 straight playoff games. Yeah. 15 straight.
Patrick Mahomes signed that lifetime contract so they could go get defenders, pay defenders, and man, have they done that, and you're seeing it this year. And everyone wants to talk about this depleted receiver core.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because we have the defense to keep us
in the game.
You know, you're talking about the touchdowns for CMC.
Yeah.
And I was looking like, okay, let's get some value here. First touchdown scored. That's not even a good value.
No.
Plus 120.
It's not.
Plus 120 is one of the best books out there right now.
It's not a good enough value to do it, Andy. No, it's just not. He scores too frequently and too often to get to get value out of his touchdowns. He has to score 2 touchdowns to get any value. The prop that I am going all in on McCaffrey, if I do go all in on one, is McCaffrey total receptions over 4.5. That's at a -120 right now on DraftKings. McCaffrey has averaged over 5 receptions per game in his last 4 playoff games. That is the prop for McCaffrey that I really, really like.
You got that at 4.5? 4.5 receptions, and I like that. And I want to clarify. First touchdown scored in the game is at a plus 400. Scores a touchdown in the first half is at plus 120. Like, what are we talking about?
It's still crazy. It's still crazy, Andy.
Where's my value?
There's not a lot of value in it. But, if you're looking for a parlay piece to at least get McCaffrey in your parlay or in the betting slot, I love those receptions over 4.5. I think that's a lock. Yep. He is going to get a lot of dump-offs in this game.
Receptions are the way to go. And even Super Bowl MVPs at a plus 450. So I mean, that's just the same odds as him scoring the first touchdown of the game. Like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to think if they win the Super Bowl, they have to kind of make it Mr. Irrelevance award. It's such a big award for him. So
what about his receiving yards? I'm looking at a 35 or 33 and a half yards now. I think he's going over that.
Yeah, no, I love that, especially because he can do it in one play. He can get 50 yards on one reception. I think he's going to get at least 5 receptions, 6 receptions, and that would be very hard for him not to get 33 yards in those receptions.
And he's one of those guys that Brock Purdy looks to. Regardless if he's open, he's not open, it doesn't matter. Sometimes he's going to force feed it to CMC, and it's not a bad idea.
No, it's not, really I'm going under on my 2 receivers here, Andy. So I really think he's dumping it off to him in Kittle in this game a lot. So I'll just segue into it. Just like I said, Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk are both at 4.5 receptions, Andy, and I'm going under on both of them.
Okay.
Deebo, the under has hit in 8 of his 11 playoff games with the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk, the under has hit in his last 7 playoff games.
Yeah,
last 7.
It's hard to get the ball around to all these guys.
It is.
And Deebo Samuel, he's been fighting an injury.
Yep.
And a lot of times he was decoy a couple of weeks ago.
It is.
But he still made a couple plays. I don't want to take it away from him. You mentioned George Kittle.
Yes.
I think that is such an interesting guy to try and bet this Super Bowl because sometimes he does not fill up the stat sheet.
He doesn't.
Plays a good game.
Yep.
Lays a couple good blocks, makes a couple of big catches. But as far as receiving yards and this and that, he had not been consistent this season as far as those prop bets have gone.
No.
I have a favorite, but I want to hear what maybe yours is when we're talking about George Kittle.
With George Kittle, it has to be receptions for me, Andy.
Receptions?
I think they're going to get him involved, and I think they're going to get him involved early. It's only at 3.5 receptions. He has to get 4 receptions. I believe this is light work for George. Like you said, sometimes the script just goes away from him, but I believe the Super Bowl is the way to do it. Are you looking more on the yard side?
Yeah, I'm looking at longest reception, over 20 and a half yards.
Yeah.
I think he's a walking big play. Even in the last Super Bowl, didn't have a great game as far as stats are concerned, but he still had a touchdown and a couple big-time receptions.
Yeah.
So this season, his average reception was 16 yards.
Yeah.
His average reception was 16 yards.
Yeah, you think he's going to get one of those for sure.
I think he's getting one.
I'm in on that, Andy, as well. I really do like the receptions. I think a lot of people are downplaying his value in this game, Andy. One more guy that we talked about a little bit before this is Kyle Juszczyk, and they are really dumbing down his. He's only at a catch.
Right.
Will he get a catch? I really do believe that they are going to get Kyle the ball, if not in a high-pressure situation.
I think they'll get the fullback. pass. I really think he'll get a reception, and then you might as well double down. I think like his yardage is like at 3.5 or 4 yards.
It is.
So if you think he's going to get a reception, go ahead and bet the over on his
exactly,
yardage.
Andy.
Do a little double dip on that one.
Exactly. One more that I want to get with the 49ers. I believe that they might have a couple stall out drives, Andy, and what I really like in this game is a play that I don't think a lot of people are on, but Jake Moody, the field goal kicker, over 1.5 field goals at a -110 bet.
Okay.
I think he's going to get at least 2 field goals in this game. That's a lock for me. 2 field goals for the 49ers.
All right.
I love the play.
I can buy that for $1. Sprinkle a little bit on that.
Yeah, give me the kicker.
I mean, we're talking Super Bowl. We got to include running backs, receivers, and the kicker.
And the kickers.
If I'm betting on Reba McEntire before the game even starts, I'm definitely betting on the kicker.
Yeah, definitely. No, I love that. Obviously, in the next segment, we might talk a couple defensive players that we like, couple defensive props, but those are my, ones I'm hanging my hat on for the 49ers.
I like it. And I think we agreed on most of those. So that was kind of nice, too.
I love it.
Too much argument there. Let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. World class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTF.